For now, the company's corporate strategy is to really make sure that our current investments are successful. And for us, success looks like, is there a strong product market fit in the market we enter? So let's take a look at UAE, for example. We received our VARA license a couple of years ago. We're the only large exchange our size with native banking relationships. What that means for retail and institutional customers is they're able to deposit and withdraw their assets very easily, very seamlessly using the bank that they prefer locally. Now, this infrastructure to us is very important to find the product market fit. And I think we're getting some success in UAE. What you can expect from us over the coming year or so is that we're going to take that model and we'll try to go enter new regulatory environments. But the way we think about our expansion is the following. Our worldview is that perhaps in the next 5, maybe 8 years, we don't believe there will be a large global footprint of offshore markets. Most markets will turn towards a regulatory framework for digital assets companies like ours to operate locally. So we're getting ready for that. And I think UAE demonstrates such a great sandbox for companies to come build that infrastructure and then be able to hopefully expand into other GCC markets very soon.
OKX has recently launched OKX Pay in Singapore and Brazil. How soon do you plan to expand into another global markets?
Well, the interesting thing about OKX Pay is that it's the first payment app in the world. There are a lot of other crypto payment apps, but what we found that was troubling or high friction for people using crypto payment apps or even merchants alike is that they were not stablecoin first or stablecoin only crypto payment apps. So what we've done is that when somebody downloads our app and enables their pay account, they only see USDT or USDC-like stable assets. What that allows anyone to do is use crypto for their day-to-day payments without having to worry about did the price fall tomorrow or is there a speculation they have to be worried about. So that app now is available in Singapore. It's available recently in Brazil, and it's becoming really popular because people are now practically able to use crypto payments in their daily lives and earn rewards and what have you. Now, to expand into other markets, we do require a payment service provider license. And you can imagine we will go market by market, leveraging our strong infrastructure to then provide this application in hopefully the rest of the world.
Let's talk about a huge topic when it comes to crypto, which is the DEXs and SEXs, the decentralized exchanges and centralized exchanges. Do you think the shift from the trader to decentralized exchanges is driven by concerns about trust, privacy, or increasing KYC regulation? And OKX just launched CDFI this week, which connect user directly to decentralized market on Solana base and X layer. Tell us about it.
So I always see decentralized markets as a way for any of us to get access to early markets, early assets, and get exposure and the potential of upside by being early. Now, the reality is when a digital asset or a crypto gets listed on a centralized exchange, one can argue that it's already too late. That upside retail has already missed. So oftentimes what you see is the native crypto retail investors will find DEX environments and DEX venues. And that comes with high friction, by the way. You have to have a wallet, you got to fund the wallet, which is not that easy. And then you have to onboard onto these DEXs. And there's even a lack of trust with DEXs. There could be liquidity concerns, so on and so forth. So what we tried to do is bring a decentralized market into our centralized infrastructure. What that allows you and I to do is use our exchange or portfolio balance and now get access to these early assets that you once had to wait until they got listed on a centralized exchange. Now, the reality is, look, any early market comes with risk. And we have proper disclosures in place and education in place to tell people that they should manage risk when they enter DEX markets, even if it's through a CDFI environment. Imagine if you're investing in 5 startups. I think you and I can agree that anytime you invest in an early startup or an entrepreneur, it comes with a high potential of risk. And I think people should look at decentralized markets in the same way. It's important to get exposure to some of these early networks and tokens that are being built out, but it's also really important to manage risk that you have put on the table. And I think I'm really particularly excited because now people can use our regulated exchange platform, their fiat balances, their exchange and portfolio balances, and quickly go buy, sell, trade these early markets on the DEXs.
Right. Last year, there was excitement across the crypto space after Trump's elections. A year later, do you think that optimism was justified? And has OKX made progress in entering the US market for security and regulatory license?
I think the US market was going through quite a polarizing effect in the last administration. So when the new administration came in and took a pro-crypto stance, you did see a quick buildup of enthusiasm. Now, I think that enthusiasm in US markets has materialized. You look at the IPO market, you have companies like Circle, Gemini, Bullish. These companies have had successful IPOs. So the enthusiasm has materialized. There is clarity around regulations. You saw the Genius Act, and now there is the market structure bill that is also being built up, which everyone in the US at least is anticipating could be as early as Q4 of this year or perhaps goes into Q1. So I don't think the enthusiasm has fizzled away, so to speak. And for us, it has been an incredible opportunity. Look, we historically had 41 MTL licenses in the United States, plus a FinCEN license. So now our app, spot trading, portfolio app, as well as the pro trading mode in Web3, these are all applications that are available to US customers. And I think the US market is really keen to find a new alternative to some of the applications and companies that they've been used to over the last few years.
Hyder, I had to ask this question regarding the market. Many analysts are warning of potential tech and AI bubble. Do you believe we are in one? And how do you think the crypto market would react if that bubble bursts?
It's interesting you asked me this because just this morning I was reading about Michael Burry and the history of his predictions. Right. And I stumbled upon a tweet, a post where a person was outlining a timeline of Michael Burry's predictions. And to my surprise, a lot of the predictions actually didn't come true. And I also saw that he's actually closing up his fund by the end of the year. Look, there is a lot of fear in the markets today. You look at what Ray Dalio is saying, you look at other analysts, everyone is warning that there is a bubble in the market. But here's the other thing that I consider. When you look at the timeline between 1999 to today, there are more retail investors in the market than historical milestones. You think about the US market, we went through digitization of brokerage platforms. You have companies like Robinhood that were able to welcome millions and millions of new retail investors that historically found it high friction to enter brokerage platforms. So I would argue there are more retail investors in the market today than historically. There's more liquidity. And any dramatic pullback in equities, whether in the AI sector or others, there's so much buying demand that I speculate that that buying demand will catch the prices and the market will recover very quickly. I do anticipate, I think the prices are high, but I also see the future. I think there's a high potential in the AI sector, and I wouldn't write it off just yet.
That will lead me to a question, Hyder. Since we are at the end of the year, what is your expectation for pricings-wise? Bitcoin, let's say by end of 2025, end of 2026. I would love to hear that from you.
I am not in a position to give you my price predictions, but here's what I will say. I think people are on the sidelines waiting for a good entry into the Bitcoin markets. There are people who prefer ETFs, and there are people who are very savvy with crypto native apps or brokerage platforms. I think that any price pullback, we can expect that people are going to purchase and buy and consolidate their positions. And I think the minimal expectation I have going into the end of this year is that we will maintain above a 100K price point. I'm not as bullish as some of the analysts that you've seen, in the market, but I'm more of a practical person when it comes to price predictions.